Okay, so welcome back to the second part of the lecture. In this part, we are going to talk about a new syntax or new things in C programming. It's about conditioning. Conditioning means you will have some condition and you will check if this condition is satisfied, you will do X, and if it's not satisfied, you will do Y. So something like this one. So how we can in a software check if some condition is or some logical condition is satisfied. In this case, we will execute some code, and if there is another situation is happening, we will do another code. So for this one, we will learn about something we call it if statement. So here, if you see in this slide, we have this one, what we call this one. This is what we are going to learn. We will learn something we call it here, this one, compact version of the if statement. And this one is the extended or expanded version of the if statement, and we will start our lecture to explain about this part, and then we will keep this one to the end of the lecture. So at the end of the lecture we will see this one in detail, but here let's see what is the branching. Here, for example, in this example we have number 1, this is a variable num1 equal 5 and num2 equal 7, and we have minimum. And here we say if num1 is less than or equal num2, if it's less than or equal to, in this case we will assume the minimum number is num1 because it's smaller than or equal num2. So else, in other situation, if the number 1 is not smaller than number 2, else we will assume number 2 is the minimum. So if number 1 is not smaller than number 2, in this case, that means the minimum number is number 2. Okay, so this one here is the if statement, if else. This one will tell you check some condition here. If this condition satisfied, then we will run this code. If not, this condition is not satisfied, you will go to the else statement. And else statement means the other situation. So this situation or other situation. So one of them. You run this code or you run this code. This is the meaning of if else statement. Okay? So this code here will print for me what is the minimum number. Is it number 5 or number 7? Okay, so let's see this one together. So I will have here, let's delete this code, and he will see here, for example, I will have here integer number 1 equal, for example, 9, and and number 2 is equal 10. Okay, and then we will see here there is also, we will define some integer min. Okay, this is the minimum, and we don't know which one is the minimum. So we will do here say if number 1, okay, if number 1 is smaller than number 2, if it's smaller than or equal, because we have no choice here, equal or less than. In this case I would say same like for loop. If you have just one line of code, then you will have this kind of situation here. This you execute some code here. Okay, so there will be some code here. Else, if this one is not okay, this condition is not okay, then go to the else statement. Else statement will be like this. Okay, now you will have here, maybe it's better. Okay, so sorry for this one. If you have here, it will be like this. It's more nice. It's okay. You can put this one as you want, but okay, you must put this one. The round brackets here must be there. Must. So round bracket if statement and then round brackets, and then you put here any logic you want. Any logic. Okay, number 1 is more than greater than number 2, it's smaller than number 2, is it equal number 2? You can do whatever you want. Okay, so this is you can do any logic here. So here I say if number 1 is smaller than number 2, then I will say minimum is equal number 1. Okay, so this is the conclusion. Else I will say if number 1, if this condition is not satisfied, that means which one is the minimum? It's sure number 2. So in this case, I would say minimum is equal number 2. Okay, and then after that, I will print here, I will say print f, and then I will print which number is the minimum. So I will say the minimum number, the min number is, okay, and then I will put here modular digits, and I will say here this one is the digit minimum. Okay, so if we run this one, it will tell us which number is the minimum, and if you see here the minimum number is 9. Okay, even you can do this one using scanf, so you can read some numbers and then check them. You don't give value here and you just give numbers using scanf. You can play with this one as you want. So say we can say scanf, and then you will here read some digits, for example modular d. Okay, modular d, and then we will read some number. Okay, here's we read number 1, and then we will do some FF flush here, for example, for the ST. This one just and then scan F. Maybe this one no need, but anyway, just I do it. So here, so scan, read another digits. Okay, modular d, and I will read another number. Okay, so here's it. So I read 2 numbers. So I need to insert 2 numbers, and then whatever I insert here, it will decide for me which one is the minimum. Okay, so let's see this one. So it's waiting. You see here, it's waiting. It asks for me for 2 numbers. Even I give 9 and 10, it doesn't care. This one will change those numbers. So I will say here, for example, the first number is 100. Okay, this is number 1. Then the second number will be, for example, 60. This is number 2. And then click. It will be the minimum number is 60. Okay, so you can play with this one if you want, as you want. So this one will work for any input of the number. Okay, also you can, the same thing is if this situation is happening, if not this situation happening, else the other situation. But if you want to tell what is the other situation, for example, if number 1 is smaller than number 2, okay, number 1 is smaller than number 2, in this case minimum will be number 1. Else, what is the other situation? Number 1 is greater than number 2. If number 1 is greater than number 2, that means the minimum will be number 2. Okay, so this one we can do it like this. We can say if, here's it. So this one is the same code. This code and this code are exactly same. So here you say else, you put some condition here. Okay, you put some condition here. Else, if you don't want to put logic, in this case, else is just the other situation. If this situation is not okay, not done, the other situation is this one. If minimum is not number 1, then the minimum is number 2. Or you can say the condition. You want to say the condition. In this case, minimum, this one will be number 1 is more than number 2. Number 1 is less than number 2. The other way is number 1 is more than number 2 or greater than number 2. So in this case, if you want, you need to say else if. You must put if here. If you put else and you put the condition, it will show error. So let's see this one together. So here, if I say here, the other situation like this, I say number 1, okay, number 1 is greater than number 2. This one will create error. It will tell you this one is not okay. Why not okay? Because with else, you should not put any logic. No logic must be here. If you want to put some logic, you must say else if like this. If you do like this, no problem. So look here, without this one, there is a red line here. That means it's error. So if you run, it will tell you there is error. You see, you should not do after else, you should not put any logic. But if you want to put logic, you insist to put logic. In this case, you must put like else if, and you put the other situation. Okay, so this is like this. Now, if I say 50 and the second number is 100, it will be the minimum 50. Okay, so this is how this thing is working. Now, this condition, these two examples, we can do it in a single line. We can do it in single line like this. We say number one, this is the logic. We say here the logic of the if statement. I say if number one is smaller than number two, this is the question mark here. This one mean if. This one mean if. So if this logic is true, if this logic is true, do this one. Execute this one. What is this one? Minimum one, number one. So minimum is equal number one. So if the logic is true, do this one. Else, this one mean else. This one mean else. This one mean else. Else, do the second sentence. This one is what? This one is this one. You see, and just this one, you see multiple line here. Some programmers later, many programmers prefer this one. We say this is compact code. You just make the code very short. So this is here, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, multiple lines, but I can do this one just in single line. So the whole if statement here, this one all just in one single line. This is very good if you want to make compact code. So we will back to this one again at the end of the class today. Okay, so this is the question mark here, mean if statement. This one is the else statement. Okay, and this one is the sentence in the true, and this sentence is the case of false, mean else. So if the logic is false, he will do this one. If the logic is true, he will do this one. Whatever here, whatever the sentence here. Okay, now here is the how the if statement is working. There is if statement, and then after that you put some logic. This one is the logic. This is just summary for what we learned. And if the logic is true, you will execute the block of code inside if statement. You might ask, can I put here in the if statement multiple line? Yes, you can do. You can make like 100 line of code. So 100 line of codes will be here. And maybe you can put here another 100 line of code. No problem at all. Okay? So you can execute, if it's true, you execute multiple lines of code. But here in our example, just one line of code. Else, you will do another line of code or multiple line of codes. Okay, so what kind of logic? Yeah, as you know, we saw this one before. Those logics like, for example, number one, you can say if statement, here if statement, and open. You say number one is greater than number two. Number two, you can say, for example, number one. Okay, number one is less than or equal number two. Okay, number two, whatever. Okay, so you can put logic as much as you want. Okay, is it equal? For example, you say if number one equal, is it exactly the same like number two? Okay. Number two, do something, okay? For example, you can not equal, so this is also another logics, okay? So those are the logic operators, okay? Those are arithmetic operator. We studied this one before. This one for math. If you want to do math, those are operator for math. We don't use this one in the if statement. In the if statement, we use logic operators, okay? Okay, so we will see more as we go in the if statement, several examples. So let's see, this is another example here. You have main, and in the main you have number is equal 0. And there is a stat, this is also integer, okay? And then we learned last lecture, if you remember, if scanf, this one asks for you for digit, ask you for digit. And you need to insert digit. If you insert letter, what this one will retain? It will retain 0. But if you insert the exact data type, for example, it asks you digit, you give digit. If you give digit, it will retain 1. So this one will give 1 for the stat. So here I say, if num is less than 0, num is less than 0. So whatever num you inserted, if it's less than 0, that means it's a negative number, and stat is equal 1. So here this one mean and this one mean, and I believe you saw this one before. I already explained this one before when we talk about while loop, if you remember. So this one means I have two conditions here. I'm checking two logic. Number must be less than 0 and stat is equal 1. What is the stat equal 1 here? Stat equal 1 mean you inserted digit. You correctly inserted digit. If the stat is equal 1 mean you did exactly what I asked you. You just insert digit. You did not insert number, float number. You did not insert character. You insert only digit. So that means you did it very well. You insert some number and that number is less than 0. In this case, what you will do here, the if statement say number is equal minus 1 times, I mean this is multiplication, times the number. So what is this one doing? So the number will be changed to positive number. So if you insert, look here, if you insert number less than 0, that means you insert negative number. I will do what? I will convert this digit negative number to positive number. Okay? And then I will print here the absolute value of num, the number you inserted, is the new num. The number, this one, the new num, which is times minus 1. As you know, if minus 1 times negative number, for example, minus 7, the result will be 7. So this is positive number. Okay, so that means it will generate the absolute value of the number. Okay, so you might ask here another question. You say, oh, why you did not put here parentheses? So where is the parentheses here? Okay, here is 1 and here 1. These parentheses same like the for loop. If you have just single line, it's optional. Optional. If you have the if statement contain just one line of code inside the if statement, in this case, this one is optional. But if you have multiple line, it's not optional. You must put parentheses here. You must put here some parentheses to say where is the block of the if statement. Where is the if statement start and where is the if statement end. Okay? So let's see how this one is very simple, but let's see how this one is working. So I will execute this code. Just for sake of time, I will not write it by myself. So sometimes I try to write by myself and sometimes I will copy. But for your case, I really recommend you to write by yourself. Don't copy, because you are just a new programmer and you don't know much about programming. So it's good to practice writing by yourself. Okay, so here is it. So let's see how this one will work. So we will run. Okay, so here is a please enter some number. I will print minus 9. Okay, so if I print minus 9, it will say, click enter, it will say minus 9 times minus 1, it will be 9. So it will here be the absolute value of number is 0. This is bad. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Oh, maybe this is because of this space. That's it. Okay, so let's run again. Okay, minus 9. Yes, it's working because I just put here some the spacing here mean you are not reading digits, you are reading something else. Okay, so that mean this one will retain 0, not retain 1, because this one was not correct. So this one you must care about this one. Okay, so like this must be like this. Okay, modulo D, that means I want digits. If you don't put digit, this one will be 0. If you put digit, this one will be 1. This one will be 1, that means you will run this one. Okay, so yeah, this is it's working. So if you try to run this one more time and now execute. So for example, I put 9, okay, it will be 9, nothing. Because that means it will just say it will not go to the if statement and just will say it will not do the if statement because 9 is more than 0. More than 0, that means this will be false. This one false, that means this one will never run. Never run. Okay? But if this one is true, this one will run. This one will run only if this sentence will run. This sentence will run only if the num is negative and you insert digit, correctly insert digit. So in this case, this one will run. But if you are inserting positive number or you are inserting some character, this one will never run. Okay? Okay, let's back to our presentation. Here, yeah, this is the how this one is working, and I think it's if statement, check two logic. Check some logic, and another logic together, and if both of them are okay, then execute some code. If they are not okay, then do something else. Okay, go to the next statement. That means don't run this one, just go to the next and do this one. Okay. Okay, and more examples just to make things more clear. How about if we have not one condition? We have one situation, second situation, third situation, fourth situation. Same like this example here. So in this example here, we have low is equal 5, high is equal 28, and we would like to calculate some temperature. So we will ask you, please enter some temperature. So you will insert some digit, temperature. Okay, and then I will say, if the temperature is smaller than 5 and you insert correctly 1, that means you insert no problem, you insert digit correctly. So if the temperature is less than low, that means less than 5, if the temperature is less than 5, I will say, I'm freezing, turn the heater on. Okay, this will be printed on the screen. Else, another situation now. Another situation, if the temperature is more than or equal high, if the temperature is more than 28 or equal to 28 and state equal 1. State equal 1 means you insert correct digit. In this case, it's too hot, turn the air conditioner on. Another situation, so this is situation number 1. This is situation number 2. So if it's less than low, more than high. Now, how about if the temperature is less than high and temperature is more than low? That means it's between this one. What does this one mean here? This one here, what's this one mean here? This one here mean this one. Exactly, this one exactly in math will be like this. Temperature, temp, okay, it's, yes, temp is between low and high. Okay, it's between high and low. Okay, so if it's in this situation, so here is it. If temperature is less than high, okay, less than high, and temperature is more than low, okay, low is less than, that means temperature is more than low. In this case, and also another situation, and, so you see how many ands here? There is one and here, and there is another and. You can add much and as you want. And the state is equal 1. That means you insert digit correctly, then the weather is amazing. So the temperature is between, if the temperature you inserted is between low and high, between 5 and 28, in this case, the weather is amazing. Else, so this is the situation number 3. Situation number 4, the last situation, you did not insert else, that means maybe you are not inserting digits. So the state is not equal. So we have the situation is temp. Okay, in math, we have situation of temp. Temp is less than or equal 5. And we have another situation, temp is more than or equal 28. And we have situation of temperature is between 28 and 5. Between 28 and 5. So what is the other situation? The other situation, you insert not digit. Other situation, if you are not insert digits, it will tell you, oh, your program is terminated. So it will tell you error input error, and program is terminated. So the output, we will test this software in the 4 situations. So we will try first time to put temperature more than 40, more than 28. If more than 28, in this case, it will show you it's too hot. It will tell you it's too hot. Turn on the air condition. If you insert number less than 5, it will tell you I'm freezing. Turn the heater on. And if you insert number between 28 and 5, in this case, it will be weather is amazing. And if you insert Q, okay, if you insert a Q, this is not temperature, not number. That means state will equal 0. State equals 0. So else it will tell you input is error. Okay, terminate the software. So you can try this one. Let's try it just fast for you, just to see how things are working here. Okay, so here's it. So just fast, pelli. Okay, so let's do it fast. Okay, so this one, and don't forget about the spacing here. This one, because I copy from PPT, so it's generates some spacing. And even this one changed because of the PPT. Okay, so here we go. And don't forget the semicolon here. Okay, everything is fine, I guess. Yeah, I hope everything will be okay. Low. There is no defined low and high. Okay, so let's define low, and low will be 5. And let's define high. Okay, let's define high. This is a constant value, okay? And high will be 28. I'm doing this one fast. Okay, so but it's okay. I think I already explained this one, so it's okay. So let's try. I will run this software several times. Enter the temperature. I will put some, like, for example, 0 degree. It's less than 5. It will be, I'm freezing. Turn the heater on, okay? Run again with another situation. So I will put it like, for example, 20. It's between. So this is amazing. You see? It will run amazing, this one. Okay? Let's run another one, high temperature. So I will say, for example, 50 degrees. So it's hot. It's too hot. Turn the air condition. Here is this one. Okay? And the last one, I will insert some letter. Letter mean status will equal 0. So I will put here some letter. And it will say input error, terminate, program is terminating. And also, again, one more time, each if statement has just single line. Single line, that means no need, it's optional to put this one. Optional, okay? It's up to you. If you put it, it's okay. If you don't put it, it's okay. But if it's one line, but if it's multiple line, no, you have to put this one. You must put this one, okay? So here is it. Just I will do it, and it will do the same job. Okay, so it will be like this, and so on. You can run for it. So if you have multiple situations, you need to, first one will be if, another situations will be else if, else if, else if. If you have many, you can put many, as much as you can. So if, else if, else if, else if, else if, and you can put many as much as you want. And also else. And if you don't want else, no problem at all. So you can show something like this one. If, else if, else if. So for example, I can Ctrl Z, I can see here, else if, like this. This one, the last situation is state equals 0. This one, exactly this one. This one. If you don't want to use else, you will use just else if, okay? So in this case, this one exactly the same software, okay? But I just changed this one to else if, okay? Because I want to put some logic. I want that. I want to put some logic. If you don't want to put some logic, then it's by default, the computer will understand this one, okay? Okay, so let's back to our presentation again and continue. So this is the flow chart of our software. Okay, now let's go to another example. Here is another example. So this example say here, just to let you understand this one very well. So in this example, I have two values and I have operator character. So I have two float number and character. And then I will say here, type in your expression. So I want you to insert some expression. What is the expression? I want you to read, I will read from your keyboard, one float followed by one character followed by one float. So I want to read from the keyboard one float followed by one character followed by one float. So I read the three. So the first float will go to value 1. Second character will go to operator, and the third float will go to value 2. And then I will check the operator character. If the operator character is equal plus, in this case, I will print on the screen value 1 plus value 2. If the operator is minus, I will print on the screen value 1 minus value 2. Else if the operator is multiply, I will print on the screen value 1 multiply value 2. Else if the operator is equal, this character divide, I will print on the screen value 1 divide by value 2. Else if, you can have many else if, okay? Else I will print unknown operator. But still, there are many operators. I can make modular, I can make many operators. Okay, so there are many operators in C programming, but this is just part of them. You see here how many, why I'm giving you this example, just to tell you there are many situations I can if, else if, else if, else if, else if, I can make many else if, okay? So let's run this software and just show you how this software is working. And the output is here, but just to let you see this one. Okay, so here's it. Yeah, everything is fine here. Okay, so okay, here, so else, so I will read the 3 variables and then I will do scan. So let's run. Here, look here, enter your expression. I say 5 times 5. So now here, the first 5 will go to value 1. Okay, the value 1 will take the first 5. The star here, it will go to the operator character. So it will go to operator. And then the second 5 will go to value 2. And then now here, I'm checking the operator. What is inside the operator? Is it a plus? Is it minus? Is it times? Is it divide? And we can do much more. Okay, so here's it. It's times. So it will run this one. So it will print on the screen this one. Value 1 times value 2. So it will print a float number and it will be value 1 times value 2. So let's see. Here we go. It's a 25. You see? Now let's run this one again, but we change it. So I will do here 5 plus 5. And let's click enter. It will be 10. 10 means this guy. Okay? And if we, so you see, it's like a calculator here. And if I say 5 minus 5, it will print 0. You see? So it depends. It will read what is the character. We can do more. We can, for example, I add one more. So here, I can add one more, and this one will be modular, for example. This is the modulus operator, and this one will be modulus operator. And there are many operators. We can have more operators. Okay, so if you want to see the operators, the arithmetic operators, you can search, for example, here, arithmetic operators, C arithmetic operators, and you will see many arithmetic operators. There are many websites. This one, you see the modular is here. Okay, so you can have divide, you can have modular, you can have those are the basic arithmetic operator, but there are more. There are more operators we can study later. Okay. Okay, so now if you see here, if we have many situations, can we, for example, every time we check the operator is a plus, operator is minus, operator is times, operator is the divide. So every time we are checking the operators, can we do this one in different way? The answer is yes. If you have many situations, in this case, I recommend you to use a switch. Switch is another type. So the same example, exactly the same example, we can use switch. So what is the switch? The switch is you have here, look here. So I read the exact, so this part is exactly the same like the previous example. So in here, I read float and character and then scanf, and I read the 3 values. Okay, float, character, float. So here I read float, character, float. So exactly same. But after that, I replace if statement by switch. So I say here what? Switch operator. That means check operator. Check operator. Every time I'm checking the operator. So I say check operator, case plus, if the operator is equal this case, print this one. And then break. Break means just leave, go, finish. Go out of the switch. Go out of the switch. Okay? If the case is minus, then do this one. Do this line. And then break. You might ask, oh, wait a minute, it's a little bit confusing. Why you make this one here multiple line and here you make it one line? No problem. You can, in C, you can make this one multiple line or you can make it single line. The enter here doesn't have any the importance in C programming. So for example, okay, here let's copy this one. Maybe this one just the error here. Why this one? It will not be confusing. So this one is only for integer. The modular only for integer, not for floats. Okay, I see. So that's fine. Just forget about this one. Okay, so this one. By the way, you can do here, the interest has no importance. For example, if one line, you can make it like this, no problem, it's okay. And you can make this one also like this. So here, no enter, it's okay, no problem. And this one, no enter, it's like this. This one, like this. Yeah, like this. And so else is like this. This one is okay. Same code, and this one is working, you see? It's working fine and no problem. So here I say 5 times 5, 25. Everything is working, so that's fine. So what I want to say here, if you make it enter, it will be more beautiful for reading. But if you don't want to make it and you make it without enter like this, it's okay, no problem. Okay, even you can make this one like this. Put parentheses and parentheses here and just like this. It's okay, no problem. So what I want to say here, enters are just to make the code beautiful for reading. But if you don't want to make the enter, that's fine. Okay, so let's go to do the same example again. Every time this example, check operator, every time I check operator. So I replace this one by this one, switch. I will change it by switch. Where is it? Here we go. So this one is not, okay. Here we go. So this one, I am saying here, okay, so here I have a operator, check operator. So this is mean check operator. If the operator is case plus, that means the operator is character plus, then do this job. And then break. Break mean go outside of the switch. Go outside of the switch. Here is the switch. Go outside. That means go here. But if you don't do break, it will execute this one and then go to the next one and execute it. So you must put a break here. Don't forget a break, okay? So you can put here multiple lines. You say, for example, print this one, and then maybe you will print after that. This is another message. For example, you say here, okay, for example, done. You can do whatever you want, okay? And then after that, you can do multiple sentences, done. And this one, for example, like this, it's okay. You can put all of this one in the, so after the plus, anything you want to do, you can do. But after you are done with the plus operation, you just break. Break means go outside, okay? So let's see this one. And then in the case of a minus, print F. So as you see here, I can make it more beautiful like this. Print value 1 minus value 2, and then a break, mean go out. In the case of multiply, if you have case of multiply for the operator, if the operator is multiply, in this case, do this one and then a break. In the case of divide, do this one and then a break. And so default mean nothing, none of this one. Default mean none of this one. This one exact the same like else. They mean if not of this one exact the same like if, and this one, this is exact the same like if, this one exact the same like else if, and you will do other, and this one same like else if, okay, and this one is exact the same like else if, okay, and the default mean like else, mean nothing else. So this is we call it default. Default mean it's not this case, not this case, not this case, not this case. So default mean unknown operator. I don't know what you are doing. Okay, so let's see how we can do this one. So we will do operator plus. So let's see here. I will read the 3 values. So I will say, for example, 5 plus 5. Okay, so that means this situation. In this case, it will print this 5 plus 1, it will be, and then it will print done and this dash line. So let's see. Here we go. 10 done dash line. You see? So it's doing exact, and then a break. Break means go out of the switch. Go out of the switch, okay? So the switch will put here some variable. You will put some variable, and this variable must be character or integer. Must be character or integer. How about a float? No. If a float, don't use a switch. Use if else, if else, if else. Okay? So if you have this variable here is not integer or not character, don't check it using switch. You need to use if, else if, else if, else if, and so on. Okay? You will go to the original code. But if this one is character or integer, you can do this case. Okay? So here you will have the plus, and you do whatever you want here. You say, okay, professor, how about if I forget to break? What will happen here? So let's see what will happen. If I forget to break, look here, I delete the break. So what will happen? So the next case is the minus. So let's see what will happen if I forget the break. Let's see here, I would say, for example, that 5 plus 5. So I assume it will be 10 and then stop. But let's see what will happen. So click enter. You see here, it will be 10, and then it will execute the next one. Value 1 minus value 2, it will be 0. So it executes the second one, and then a break. Because there is a break, it will go out. So if you forget the break, it will go to the next case. This is very important to know. So break is very important here. Okay, break means stop. I am done with this case. Then go out. Go out of the switch. Go out of the switch, that means go here. Okay, execute whatever code is here. Okay, so maybe I can put here print f. So just to show you, it will go outside and print, for example, this one, software where is done. Okay, so for example, so let's see after we put a break what will happen here. So I will say here, for example, 100 divide 10. For example, this is the divide case. The divide case, this means this one. Okay, and then it will break and then go outside. So let's see. Yes, it will be 10. That means this is the divide, and then software is done. Software is done. That means go outside of the switch. So the switch start here, finish here. The switch start here, finish here. So the logic, so the design of the switch is clear now, and it's a replacement for if, else if, else if, else if, else if. If you have many else if, use a switch. Okay, now let's go to the our presentation, and here is the general form of the switch. So switch will start by expression, and then open parentheses here, don't forget. So there will be some open parentheses here, okay, don't forget about this one. And then case, and the break. Case, and you put here many lines as much as you want. Okay, and then a break. Case 2, and then a break. You can put also cases as much as you want. Cases. You just add cases as much as you want. Okay? Default, this is the else situation. Okay? If not of these cases, he will run the default. Okay? And then a break. And another thing, as I told you, this one, this expression or this logic here, or this operator here, must be integer. So it must be character. It must be character data type or integer data type, but no float. Okay, no float. The float is not. You cannot use a switch with a float. Okay, don't use a switch with a float. If you have float number and you want to check this float number, just change back to the if else, if else, if else. Okay, if, else if, else if, else if, else if. Okay. Okay, here's the last thing for today, is that how we can put if else inside loop. We want to combine between loop and condition inside the loop. So I am checking inside the loop. So here in this loop, let's see this one. Here I have character. I read character from the keyboard. This one like scanf, but this one just read. So this one exactly same. Get character is exactly same like scanf. And then here I will say modular C and comma and then CH. Okay, sorry, there is and operator here. This one is exactly this one. Okay, it's up to you. So why I'm giving you different way to read characters? Just because I want you to practice different way of reading character. And I know from the homeworks, there are some students use another type of, like not only get characters, they have another type of reading from the keyboard. Okay, I'm checking it while the character is not enter. If the character is not enter, a new line mean enter. If the character is not equal enter, if the character, so inside the loop I keep loop. If the character is not equal enter, the character is more than 97 and the character is less than 122, that means it's between A small letter and Z small letter, then in this case put on this one print on the screen. This one is exactly same, put character, it's exactly same like print F, and then you will print what? You will print one character, and that character will be what? That character will be CH, okay? So this one and this one is the same, put character. Put character means print one character. So I will print character. What this character will be? CH minus 32. CH minus 32 mean what? That mean if you put 97 minus, that means A small letter, minus 32 equal what? 65. 65 is what? A capital letter. This one A small letter. So this one mean print on the screen whatever the character minus 32, that mean whatever the character as capital letter. Okay, and then read from the keyboard one more time. Okay, Tashi, read from the keyboard one more character. Okay, and then is it the character is new line? No, it's not an enter. Then print the character the character as a capital letter and read the character again. So what is the else here? If the character is not small letter, that means the letter is capital letter. So that means print it as it is. This is the else. Else put the character as it is. Don't do anything because the character is capital letter. If this one, so this one will read from the keyboard. Here is it. So you read from the, okay, let's execute this one. So to show you. Okay, here's it. So I will have here. Okay, here is it. So I will run. Now in the keyboard, here is it in the keyboard, I will say, for example, Tamer, for example, and then I click enter. When I click, so he will keep reading. Okay, so he will print Tamer, capital letter, you see? So he read from the keyboard many characters, okay, read many characters until I click enter. When I click enter, he will print all of them. It will print all of them as a capital letter. So he he will put all characters one shot, and then after that he will print the new line, the enter, the last CH character I inserted. The last CH character I inserted is the new line. So here's it. You see the new line will be here. Okay. So one more time, let's run here. If I say, for example, T and then M capital, and then ER, and then maybe I will put star. You can put star. So star means keep the character as it is because it's not letter. Okay, and then it's not between 97 and 22. Tamer, okay, C, and then for example, programming. Okay, like this. So let's see what this one will print on the screen. When I click enter, that means I'm done. When I'm done, he will put all these characters on the screen. Look here. So it will be Tamer, star will keep it as it is. Star will mean here in the put character. So star and then C, it will be C capital. Underscore will keep it as it is because it's not between 97 and 122. And then programming, you see? So this is how this software is working. So what I did here, I did if statement, and this if statement contain this line. Okay, it's contained this line, and then else it's containing this. Sorry, okay, it's containing this line, okay, and then this one just read the new character because you keep reading, okay, characters. This is get character mean read the new next character. This one like scanf. So this one same like this one, okay. So this is how this one to convert any string from small letter to capital letter. This one is another example about if inside if. You can do that. So for example, you will say if the number, here is please enter some integer number. I read some number from the keyboard, and then if number is more than 0, then check another thing. I would say if inside this if statement I do another more check. So here's the if statement here. I start checking here. So this is the if statement, okay? And inside this if statement, if the number is positive, if the number is positive, do another check. What is the another check? If the number modulo 2 is equal 0. Modulo 2 means there is no remain from the number, modulus operator. So if the number has no remain, that means it's equal 0. That means the number is even number. So in this case, I will print even number. How? For example, 6 modulo 2 mean what? This one mean if I divide 6 by 2, it will equal 3. What is the remain? So this one is exactly like this. 6 and 2, divide 6 by 2, it will be 3. And in this case, the remain will be what? 0. This is the modulus. Modulus is the remain. What is the remain? Okay, this is the meaning of the modulus operator if you forgot about this one. This is basics from high school or something. So the modulus operator mean what is the remain. So if the number is even number, all the time, if the number is even number modulo 2, all the time will be 0. But odd number, for example 5, odd number. 5 modulo 2, it will be equal 2, okay, 2 by 2 will be 4, and all the time there will be remain 1. So the modulus all the time, if the number is odd, the modulus will be equal 1. So here, if the number modulus 2 is equal 0, that means the number is even. Else the number is odd. Okay, so this is for positive number. So inside the positive number, I do another check. So this is the first check if it's positive. Another check if it's even or odd. Okay, this is inside the if statement. Else the number is negative. Okay, I think this is clear. And here's some output. So if you put 5, it will tell you the number is positive and odd. And if you put 10, it will say the number is positive and even. If you put a -5, it will tell you the number is negative. That means this one. Okay. So what I want to say from this example, you can put if inside if. You can do that. So the first if checks. So this is the first if check, first condition, and then next you will check again, check another condition. Okay, inside it. Okay, again, one more time, we're back again to the, if you remember, condition, question mark, expression, dot, expression. I told you this one at the beginning of the video, conditional operator. So this one is same like, so for example, if I say, this is logic, this is the last thing I want to, here is the logic, and this one, if a statement, if the logic is true, you will execute this one. If the logic is false, you will execute this one. So that means this one is like else. Okay. So for example, I say here max value equal, and then now a check statement. If the logic is true, that means max value will go to A. A is go to max value. If the logic is false, that means max value will be B. Okay. So this sentence here, let me delete all this, erase everything here. This sentence is this one, exactly this one. So if the logic is true, max value is A, equal A. Else max value equal B, okay? So this is the meaning of this one. So remember, you can do this one or you can do this one. It's up to you. So this one is the conditional operator way, and this one is just the normal if statement way. Here is another example. So let's see here, for example, I say read some mark, and I'm checking here, I print some string. The string is what? This one. This one, okay? This one is the print. I say here, if the mark value is more than 40, then you will print string. What is the string? Will be passed. If else, it will print fail. So the string will be failed. Okay? Another one here, another example, I'm saying here, same thing. I say here, there's a number 1, number 2, and there is max. I say here, if number 1 is more than number 2, number 1 is more than number 2, then max equal number 1. Max is equal number 1. If number 1 is more than number 2, that means this is a true, then max is equal number 1. Else, if this is not a true, that means max is equal number 2. And then here I would say largest number between this digit and this digit is this digit. That means between number 1 and number 2 is the max. Okay, so for example, I say the largest numbers between 5 and 10 equal 10. This is to find the max. So this is if statement. So this one here is if statement. And this one here is if statement. Okay, but using conditional operator. Okay, so that's it for the lectures for this week. So in this week, we talk about for loop and the first video. And also we talk about how to make loop inside loop. We call this one nested loop. And also how to make, this is we call it multiple loop or nested loop. Nested loop. Okay, we saw this one. That means loop inside loop. So we can do like for loop, okay. For loop, and here is the for loop, and inside this for loop we will create another for loop. Okay, here is it. So there will be something here and something here. So there is another for loop inside for loop. And also we talked this week about else, if else statement, and also about switch statement. Also, we talk about conditional operator, this one like question mark, and this one like this. So if there is a logic here, and this logic is a true, this one will be executed. And if this logic is wrong, this one will be executed. Okay? So this is the summary for this week. So hopefully everything will be clear. If you have any question, I will open the discussion section. Please feel free to ask any question or any feedback you have, and I will be more than happy, and my TA will be more than happy to answer any question you have. Thank you, and we'll see you in next video.